in 2017.
Dubai investigates skyscraper fire.
Afi Shiapa.
FAA Nami and Barkade Sabo Shekara. And so that's just to wish you a happy new year.
Good evening. Welcome to the studios of GBC24 and GTV. It's time for the news. I'm Akushika Akwe.
And I'm Conrad Kakraba, and Robert Frimpolmans is doing the sign language translation.
The BNI has invited a former CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority, Sylvester Mensah, to assist in alleged fraud investigations. As part of the investigations, 5 officials of the National Health Insurance Authority have been arrested by the BNI for suspected acts of fraud in the payment of claims to medical facilities. The investigations, which began 6 months ago at the instance of the President, has led to the interrogation of 48 people from the NHIA and the suspected medical facilities.
17 persons from various district and regional offices have been cautioned and granted bail. 2 others from the head office are on bail, while another 3 are currently before court. BNI sources say many of the medical facilities have been falsifying documents and submitting bloated claims to the NHIA, and in some cases colluded with officials of the NHIA to defraud the authority. Some officials have also been found to be engaging in inclusion of non-NHIA registered medical facilities for private gain. On the last day of 2015, many sought refuge in the house of God to wash away or to part ways with the negative happenings in the dying year. Churches were filled to capacity at the various watch night services to usher in 2016 on a clean slate and to pray for personal development and prosperity for their families, progress and peace for the nation, especially as we turn the corner to the election 2016.
Starting on a fresh page in everyone's life is an important crossroad. This is because everyone wants to succeed in all endeavors. For those who started the year at the feet of the Lord, it was an important event which signifies a new beginning and of good things to come. On the eve of 2016, the congregation at the Atomic Hills Presbyterian Church at Ashoman Estate had the New Year message from Reverend Emmanuel Osafo Boateng, who reminded Ghanaians to preserve the peace as the nation goes to the polls.
It's my prayer that 2016 will be another year where, because we have renewed our minds, because we have changed our attitudes, our negative attitudes, and everything that has gone wrong with us will be changed, so we can have very successful elections and live together before, during, and after the elections as one nation, one people with one destiny.
Reverend Dr. Robert Ampiakofi of the Global Revival Ministries declared favor and prosperity upon Christians in the nation at large.
I see the favor of God coming upon this nation. I see the favor of God coming upon your life. I see the favor of God coming upon your family, upon your community, in the name of Jesus.
This was the atmosphere at the Unity Assemblies of God Church in Hacho. The head pastor, Reverend Dr. Bismarck Bansa, said challenges will persist. However, Christians should remain steadfast in the Lord for ultimate victory. For those who are unable to make it to church, they were still able to get a New Year message through the magic of television or on radio by the various pastors who shared the word of God electronically.
It was time for worship at Logos Rima behind Trade Fair. The chief servant, Abu Baku, said 2016 is a supernatural year for leaders on the continent. At the Harvest Chapel International at Tesano, members said prayers for the nation. Members could not hide their joy. The founder of the Christ Pentecostal Church, Right Reverend Victor Zulakla, appealed to politicians and activists to avoid utterance that could plunge the country into the realms of distraction. Reverend Dr. Odonko of the Kaneshi Presbyterian Church urged members to maintain a positive outlook this year. At the Alen AME Zion Church, DSP Kofi Sapong thrilled members of the church with some gospel tunes. The resident pastor, Reverend Frank Asumedu, encouraged Christians to be God-fearing. Apostle Sylvester Ajimai of the Apostles Continuation Church International prayed for growth and prosperity. Venerable Samuel Hansenade of the St. Michael and All Angels Anglican Church at Kolegono led the congregation in prayers for God's blessings and guidance this year. This was how the streets of Accra looked like at the stroke of midnight to welcome 2016. At the Legon branch of Church of Christ, Evangelist George Kingsley Agboka urged Ghanaians to have faith in God, unite and work towards developing the nation. At the Christ Evangelical Mission at Medina, the head pastor, Loveland Atiega, said, 2016 is a year of divine favor. He advised Ghanaians to contribute to the development of the nation. The leader of the Pentecost International Worship Center at Kaneshi, Apostle Dr. Daniel Walker, said, there is the need for the nation to rely on God and also stay focused to be able to develop.
At the Springhouse Chapel International in Dansoma, members were ecstatic as they ushered in the new year. Head pastor of the church, Ohenise Janejei, exhorted members to remain focused and exhibit good qualities at all times. He called for unity in diversity among Ghanaians, especially during the elections.
At the Holy Church of the Lord at Mamprobi, the congregation started the service with a candlelight vigil. At 12 midnight, members sang and danced to usher in the new year. Reverend Opong Edujemfi of the International Charismatic Church at North Fadama to uphold peace and integrity in the country. This, he believes, will promote development as the country prepares for election 2016.
The congregation at the Mountain of Deliverance Ministry International at Abeka thanked God for ushering them into 2016. In spite of the ups and downs of the past year, they were grateful for God's protection and guidance and asked for his continued favor and mercy for the days ahead. The General Overseer Apostle Irene Edujemfi entreated Christians to keep the faith in Christ. She encouraged them to live at peace with one another for a successful general election this year.
Now we take you to other parts of the country for excerpts of the watch night services from the Volta, Ashanti, Central, Eastern and Western regions.
At the St. Peter's Parish at the Suyeboa in Ashanti region, Reverend Father Isaac Menu charged Christians to enter the new year with a renewed attitude that will help develop the nation. The leaders and founder of the Church of the Lord Brotherhood, Primate Adolfo, urged Ghanaians to eschew negative tendency that will hinder the nation's progress. At the Emmanuel Assemblies of God Church at Adiesoba, the senior pastor, Reverend Dr. Duncan Nyaku, led the congregation in prayers for the nation. In the Volta region, with songs of praise and thanksgiving, members of the Global Evangelical Church at Hofiave expressed appreciation to God for his divine protection throughout 2015. The head pastor of the church, Reverend Samuel Koblasubo, urged politicians and Ghanaians to be circumspect in their utterances this election year. At the Grace Temple Central Church of Pentecost at Hobankwe, the district pastor, Seth Okletena, urged Christians to incline their ears to the voice of God. The situation at the Miracle Temple Ministries was no different as members sang and danced to the glory of God. The general overseer of the church, Pastor George Kunu, expressed concerns about the moral decadence in society. He urged Ghanaians to eschew negative attitudes and tendencies this year. The district pastor of the Elom Parish of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church at Hobankwe, Reverend Emmanuel Entry Tumfo, appealed to Christians to dedicate themselves to the service of God and approach the new year with determination and hope.
At the Anaji Assemblies of God Church in Takoradi, members sang songs of praises and thanksgiving to usher in the new year. The head pastor, Reverend David Brister, advised Christians to serve the Lord wholeheartedly. At the Good Shepherd Methodist Church at Tanokrom, the congregants were charged to look into the future with courage. At the Christ the King Catholic Church at Efiekoma, a parish priest, Reverend Father Joseph Kwame Bray, who preached a sermon on the theme, Never Sell Your Service, advised Christians to remain chaste and committed to the service of God.
This was the atmosphere at the International Central Gospel Church at Dunkornofin in the Central Region. The district pastor Samuel Tete advised Christians to worship God at all times. He prayed for peaceful elections this year. At the St. Stephen Catholic Church in Dunkwa, the Reverend Father Sylvester Isurifi advised politicians to be mindful of their utterances during electioneering campaigns. At the Christian Divine Church at Dunkornofin, the district pastor Techi Mensah prayed for divine protection for the country. He advised the youth to say no to politicians who will want to use them to foment trouble during the elections. In the Central Region, the news team visited the Christ Church Anglican Cathedral, where the Bishop of the Cape Coast Diocese, Very Reverend Dr. Victor Atta-Bafo, urged Christians to put the challenges of 2015 behind them and forge ahead. He called for peace and tolerance among all. Prophet Dr. Dahosa of the Mountain Fire Chapel International and Reverend Justice Abeku Agri of Bishop Latte MAE Zion Church of Saltpond encouraged Ghanaians to remain resolute at all times. The founder of the Word of God Miracle Church, Apostle Boabeng, urged men of God to assist the vulnerable in society. The founder of the Grace Temple Life Cathedral, Reverend Isaac Boedu, called for total transformation of Christians in the new year.
In the Eastern Region, GBC24 was at the Grace Outreach Church at Efidiase, the Revival Outreach Church International at Efidiase, the Christian Divine Church at Nsukwao, the Muzamadisco Christo Church at Efidiase and Calvary Methodist Church also at Efidiase. The head pastor of the Grace Outreach Church, Reverend Dr. George Derrick Sunu, stressed the need for Christians to continuously pray for God's peace to reign in the country. The resident pastor of the Revival Outreach Church International, Reverend Stephen Addo, asked the congregation not to be intimidated by the challenges. He prayed for wisdom for leaders, especially political leaders. The Kofodia Circuit pastor of the Muzamadisco Christo Church, Pastor Samuel Donko, asked men of God not to give false prophecies about which political party will win the 2016 elections, since that can jeopardize the nation's current peace. The regional pastor of the Christian Divine Church, Reverend Isaac K. Arthur, urged Ghanaians to accept the outcome of the elections and pray for the country. Members of the Calvary Methodist Church, Efidiase, prayed for the church leaders in authority and the nation. The superintendent minister of the church, Very Reverend Joseph Gali, cautioned the youth against allowing themselves to be used as politicians to foment trouble, especially during and after the 2016 general elections. The Living Streams International Church at La in Accra was where President John Mahama had his watch night vigil for 2016. The head pastor, Reverend Dr. Ebenezer Makwe, said the strides that Ghana has made over the years should engender hope for all in the new year. This statement was re-echoed by President John Mahama. Napoleon Atukito reports.
This is the Living Streams International Church at La, Accra. This is where the President, Mr. John Mahama, kept vigil for the New Year's Day. He was accompanied by some ministers of state. The congregation danced in praise worship as they awaited the clock to tick into the new day. Reverend Dr. Ebenezer Markwe urged Ghanaians to review their past and correct their mistakes in the new year, which, according to him, presents new possibilities.
Everything was perfect until man came. Everything was good until man came to town. Then God said, this is not good. So you know, in every place where there are human beings, nature is at peace with itself until human beings interfere with nature. There is a cause for each and every one of us to have a self-evaluation. Look at yourself and say, what did I not do right?
When the new year was born, President Mahama took to the podium and preached against violence in the election year.
It takes every single ant to build the anthill and the community and make it successful. No ant says that my contribution is meaningless. My contribution doesn't matter. It is each one of them going and bringing things into the anthill that builds the anthill and makes sure there's food in there for the colony. And it is the same with communities and nations and societies. Every single person matters.
On this platform, every speaker advocated peace and harmony among all Ghanaians.
Vice President Kwesi Mensah-Arthur and his family also took their seat in the pews on the last day of 2015. The message from most of the pulpits was on peace before, during and after this year's elections, and Mr. Mensah-Arthur admonished Christians to do duty by praying and working hard to consolidate the gains of peaceful democracy. Nuto Bibini Nuto has more.
The second family, Kwesi and Matilda Mensah-Arthur, were at church on December 31 to usher in a new year. As avowed Christians, it is both a tradition and responsibility to devote some time to their Maker, especially after a trying year like 2015. They spent a better part of their time at the Global Evangelical Church, South La, thanking God for seeing the nation through last year, which was characterized by cholera, Ebola scare and load shedding as a result of the energy shortfall. The outgoing moderator of the Global Evangelical Church, Right Reverend Dr. Edem Tete, urged Ghanaians to put the past behind and work towards a peaceful elections this year.
I'm asking for men and women among you who want to tell me that 2016 they will spend at least 5 minutes every day praying for Ghana.
While we have hope on the economy, how we have hope that the doomsaw has finally ended, while we have hope that in health and in education and in all aspects of national life will continue to thrive, we are also praying that we will continue to be a peaceful haven for all the people of West Africa, for all the people of Africa to look at Ghana with hope that they also can do what we have done.
The mood at the Calvary Methodist Church was solemn and prayerful when the Vice President Kwesi Mensah-Arthur and his family got there. They prayed for the nation, all arms of government and the church. The Superintendent Minister of the Accra North Circuit of the Methodist Church, Very Reverend Theophilus Anderson, led the prayer into 2016 as the new year took over the baton from 2015, symbolized by the switching off and on of the light.
Yes, 2016.
Vice President Kwesi Mensah-Arthur said the low prices of commodities on international markets, the energy crisis, and health scare would not be seen this year.
As we pray this year, we also will pause and listen to the voice of God, listen to our conscience, listen to the ways in which we can, each of us, become our brother's keeper. so that this country will go forward in peace, in stability, and make progress.
It was all joy at the Christ Resurrection Church at Bekala Pass as they bid farewell to last year and usher in this year. Led by the regional pastor, Reverend Daniel Odum, the church prayed for the nation, the president and his executive, the judiciary, the legislature, and the entire citizenry. He said the only way out of any post-electoral challenges is to know God and make Him known. The Christ Apostolic Church at Usu danced off 2015 and its challenges. The chairman of the church, Apostle Dr. Mweni, described 2016 as a year of love which must be demonstrated to humanity and the state. They thanked God for keeping Ghana through difficulties that other nations could not survive.
So 2015 is now history, and many have started the new day and new year with hope for a brighter year. Many were able to achieve their resolutions for the past year, and for those unable to see them through to a logical conclusion, it's another opportunity for a fresh start. GBC24 was out and about and shares with you a few resolutions.
I wish God opened doors for me, so I want God to provide me with traveling opportunities.
I have a project I want God to help me finish in 2016.
I want the coming year to be great. Like, I have plans of furthering my education, so I pray to God that He will help me throughout the year and make everything great.
This year, I want God to make me prosper. I want things to move faster.
I'm hoping that new ways will be open to me. Then everything that I do will be successful.
I want God to help me so that I can finish the building. My business too, I must increase it. You understand?
I'm praying that whilst I'm about to enter into this 2016, God will promote me. He will help me for me to continue my education.
I want God to boost my business in 2016.
The beginning of the year is when many send goodwill messages to encourage friends and family and pray unceasingly for what the future holds. This is when creative juices flow and zigzag across the world. From the stroke of midnight, phones were buzzing with interesting messages. We share some with you.
And apart from the video messages, there were goodwill pictures and text messages as well. And if for some reason your family and friends forgot about you, by all means, you may pick one from our next clip.
And on the first day of 2016, GBC24 drove through some traffic-prone areas in the capital, and it was evident that the usual human and vehicular congestion that characterizes a normal working day was absent.
2010 population census puts the total number of people living in Accra a little over 4 million, the figure notwithstanding the hundreds of people who come to Accra on a daily basis to do business. On a normal day, there's huge traffic on almost every available route in the capital. However, on the first day of 2016, the usual traffic congestion was absent. With functional traffic lights, there was a free flow of traffic on the Ring Road Central, particularly near the Nima Police Station, the Flagstaff House, the 37 Military Hospital, Opebia House, and on the Medina Highway. Also, the business district of Accra, including Makola, Rawlins Park, and Tudu, Adabraka, and Circle, were free. At Tudu, some traders were seen selling close to the street.
We like the traffic situation today. It has given us the opportunity to sell.
There's no more things.
The free flow of traffic is helping business today.
The absence of traffic congestion on the street of Accra was an indication that most people were still catching some sleep after the all-night services. Some commuters who spoke to GBC24 complained that it was difficult for them to get commercial vehicles to their destinations as the streets were virtually empty.
People are spending the holiday with their families, and so it has become difficult to get a car to board.
These children are school dropouts. They make a living by escorting these physically impaired women to beg for alms. They tell me the holiday has reduced their income levels. On a normal day, they earn between 200 and 300 Ghana cedis, but today the market is not good.
Business is not good. They say today is a holiday.
Aside the free flow of traffic, police visibility was present. Joe Samuel assures the public of a greater engagement between the police and the public in 2016.
The police is always going to be with them. Wherever they go, wherever they fly to, wherever they move to, they are moving with the police. And I'm giving them the assurance that they will have peace. As the whole world is looking for, it's going to be theirs.
2nd January is a working day, and it is anticipated that the city will come to life again. Reporting for GBC24, Gifty Ajayi, Accra.
Engineers at the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, are working around the clock to detect the cause of a fire that caused a blast at the company's bulk supply point at Ridge in Kumasi on Wednesday. A team of the company's engineers from Accra are in Kumasi to help fix the problem in the shortest possible time and restore power supply to customers across the region.
ECG Substation A at Ridge is one of the 2 bulk supply points in the Ashanti region. It receives and supplies about 80 megawatts of power to the Kumasi metropolis, Asante Mampong municipality and the Amensi West district. These areas were plunged into darkness following an explosion. 3 of the current transformers were believed to have caught fire and exploded in the process. When GBC24 got to the scene, ECG engineers were working to detect the cause of the fire and explosion. The systems operations manager, Mr. Edward Owusu-Pepra, said they suspect a fault with the systems. The general manager of the ECG, Dr. Kwabna Adoma, said the engineers are working round the clock to restore power.
It was difficult to get DC supply to our protection system, and without this it's very difficult because that says there's no protection. If you decide to operate the system without protection, we can even lose the whole station.
Meanwhile, fire this morning razed down 8 shops at Roman Hill, close to the Catholic Basilica in Kumasi. The fire, which started at around 2 a.m. on New Year's Day, destroyed generators, water pumps, vehicle batteries, refrigerators, and other expensive electrical goods. Firemen from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology arrived to put out the blaze. As at 6 a.m., the firemen were still battling the inferno. Assistant Station Officer Joseph Minga, who headed the KNUST fire team, said they received the distress call at about 2:35 a.m. and immediately rushed in to tackle the blaze.
The chiefs and people of the Mafi traditional area in the central Tong district of the Volta region have visited their ancestral home of Mafi Dugame, where they first settled before crossing the Lake Volta to their present abode. They were led by the chiefs and performed some traditional rites at Adidome.
Taking a trip to the ancestral home forms part of activities of traditional festivals. The visit to the ancestral home of Mafi Dugame, or Mafi Kpondoave, across the Volta Lake, is accompanied by drumming and dancing, including the singing of Asafo war songs. The chiefs and people did the crossing in their 3 traditional groups, in line with customs and tradition. The Bota clan, dressed in red, was the first to cross, followed by the Domoao, who were clad in white. Then came the Tofi clan, usually in green, all depicting various aspects of the culture of the people of Mafi. Apart from the pouring of libation, prayers were also said for the country, her leaders, the poor and vulnerable. A senior divisional chief of the Tofi clan, Togbi Asafo Boatri IV, told GBC24 that pilgrimages allow the people to appreciate their cultural values and customs. This fosters unity and togetherness among the chiefs and their people.
This is News Hour on GBC24 and GTV. We'll be back with more stories. Some business news now. To motorists who use vehicles without fog lights, the Harmattan season has brought pressure to bear on their pockets. At Abosokai, the price of fog light, which at the beginning of the year was selling at 100 Ghana cedis, is now selling at 150 Ghana cedis.
Harmattan is a dry, dusty wind that blows from the Sahara Desert in late December and continues sometimes until early February. This year's Harmattan could be described as one of the severest in decades. One sector of the economy that is bearing the brunt of the dry weather is the transport sector. In the first week of December 2015, all the domestic airlines could not fly out from Accra to any of the regions, especially Tamale, because the weather was foggy. On the road sector, business has been going on, but with some difficulty. For instance, during this period, when the weather is hazy, the rate of road accidents do increase because of poor visibility. According to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, visibility in Accra is about 800 meters, while that of Tamale is 500 meters. To the drivers plying between the north and the capital, the way out is to rely on their headlights, or at best, the fog lights. Without fog lights, drivers might not see obstacles or oncoming vehicles in time to avoid them. As their names suggest, these lights are meant to cut through the fog and light up the surface of the road so that drivers can see well enough to stay on the road and within their lane. However, most of the vehicles are without fog lights and have now found the need to get one. And the drivers at the Odona Transport Station in Accra say the fog lights are necessary, but acquiring them means an additional cost. Akwesi Bujay plies between Accra and Kumasi, and he said some of the drivers use the fog light to hurt the eyes of other drivers.
Fog light in this no. So
some of our colleague drivers have been using the fog lights to blind others. We are therefore appealing to them to stop.
Samuel Boateng is also a long-distance driver at the Odona station. He also complained about the abuse of the fog lights by his colleagues.
The fog light is important, but some of the drivers abuse its use.
The news team visited Abosokai to find out if the harmattan has, in a way, pushed the demand for fog lights up. Sandwiched between Kaneshie and Kolebu, Abosokai is the hub of the city's second-hand spare parts business. Used engines, pistons, brake pads, lights, fog lights, bumper, doors, windshields, mirrors, rims, fan belts, and crankshafts, among others. Stephen Kujo says this year's harmattan is severe, but it is yet to reflect in the sales of fog lights at his shop at Abosokai. He said the slow sales is due to the fact that most of the vehicles imported into the country now have fog lights.
The drivers usually buy the fog light during the Harmattan season, but this time the patronage is not encouraging.
Osai
Poku Rabi is also a fog lights and regular lights dealer. He has been in this business for over 10 years and said most drivers would have loved to have fog lights on their vehicles, but they were expensive.
The price ranges are 150, 100 and 350 cedis, depending on the vehicle.
Amidu Gariba says the price of fog lights is between 150 to 400 Ghana cedis.
Last year we are complaining.
Last year, business was slow, but this year it's worse.
We'll be back with some health news. In health news, the National Pensioners Association started its pensioners medical scheme in the Upper West region, and the pensioners medical scheme provides the aged with treatment for ailments that are not covered under the NHIS. In an interview with GBC24, the president of the association, Mr. Edward Ameibo, said the scheme will help members to meet their health needs without having to pay any money when they fall sick.
The Pensioners Medical Scheme was introduced in 2014 as a result of the increasing number of pensioners struggling to raise funds to meet their basic health needs that are not covered under the NHIS. The scheme seeks to provide pensioners with quality insurance that can cover them. The National Pensioners Association launched the scheme last year. Under the scheme, pensioners are required to pay 4 cedis per month for their medical treatments for the rest of their lives, irrespective of the illness. This is deducted as source into the fund. The fund is managed by Liberty Mutual Health Insurance. Implementation has already started in the Upper West region.
So we are hoping that by the end of 2016, we should be dealing with 200 service providers. Service providers includes hospitals. It starts from hospitals and includes pharmacies and laboratories, and then eye and ear centers. Some of our members are still not too sure whether the thing will succeed or not. But we said to stand still is an argument of inaction, you see. So let's try, and with time and with carefulness, we will be able to succeed.
The National Pensioners Association is working in partnership with the Ghana Health Services and the Christian Health Association of Ghana. So far, 250 members of the scheme have received their insurance cards in the Upper West region. 4 hospitals in the region have agreed to accept the pensioners' medical insurance cards for treatment.
We are all waiting for the day that the cards will be distributed. So that, in fact, they have patience. When you talk to them, they are happy about the whole thing. Maybe some are encouraging us to increase the contribution.
55,000 pensioners across the country are expected to benefit from the scheme. 20,000 members
are to receive their cards by the end of December this year.
In other news, Rwanda's President Paul Kagame has confirmed that he will seek re-election for a third term in 2017. The announcement was expected after a referendum approved constitutional changes to allow him to run for 3 further terms and could potentially see him stay in power until 2034. Mr. Kagame said Rwandans had made it clear they wanted him to lead the country after 2017 and he could only accept. He has dominated Rwandan politics since his rebel army ended the 1994 genocide. Last month's referendum result means Mr. Kagame can run for a third 7-year term in 2017 and then 2 further 5-year terms. The authorities in Dubai are trying to find out what caused a spectacular fire to engulf a 63-story luxury hotel in the city center on New Year's Eve. After battling for more than 20 hours, firefighters appear to have extinguished most of the blaze at the Address Downtown Hotel. An eyewitness says only a couple of small isolated fires are still burning. The tower was evacuated and 16 people were hurt. A fireworks show went ahead at the Burj Khalifa Hotel nearby, the world's tallest building and an iconic symbol of the United Arab Emirates. Video and pictures showed the fire that burned on the terrace area earlier on Friday morning had been put out and significantly less smoke was coming from the building. The pictures show the facade facing the Burj Khalifa had been severely damaged by smoke and fire and that all floors from the lower area of the building to the upper levels were affected. The cause of the blaze, which is said to have started on the 20th floor, is still not known. There's more news in this package.
The chairperson of the Black Queens Management Committee, Madam Linia Adi, says the committee is waiting for the president to fulfill a promise he made to the Black Queens for winning gold at the All Africa Games. All the national women's teams are yet to be paid their outstanding bonuses.
It was a brilliant performance. We were all sitting on thorns, and the way the goal came, and when the coach did the substitution, brought on Edem Matovo, and just with the 2-touch, she had the penalty. Unfortunately, Agnes Ediaku missed it, but Poshapachi was on hand to just slot it in to give Ghana its first gold medal. Unfortunately, they have come and we have not been recognized. But I believe the president said that when he comes back from his trip from the US, he was going to see us. But up till now, we have been waiting patiently for the president. We know he's going to fulfill his promise. The girls are also owed arrears. The black maidens are owed bonuses. The black princesses are also owed bonuses, just qualifying to the World Cup Papua New Guinea 2016. Then the black queens are also owed bonuses. Sierra Leone pulled out, otherwise the black maidens should have played in 2 weeks' time. The black princesses are supposed to step up their training for Papua New Guinea because they also have to get to an appreciable level than what they did in Canada. Then the black queens also have engagement in March. So black maidens will be playing Morocco in March. Black queens will be playing Tunisia or Burkina. The side that wins will be meeting the black queens also in March. So I'm pleading, using the medium to plead, that the authorities will make good their promise of taking care of the ladies so that it will motivate them because these girls are doing something meaningful to society.
That's it for sports.
Hello and welcome to the entertainment and arts segment of the news. My name is Micheline Taka. Market women at Makola have enjoyed some good entertainment at an open music event organized by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. The event was to help the traders unwind after challenging moments in the past year.
The Praise Emmanuel SDA singers from Osu performed to the admiration of the traders as well as some pedestrians. The MC of Accra, Mr. Alfred Vanderpoy, and the MP for the area, Ni Lante Vanderpoy, joined in the merrymaking. Mr. Alfred Vanderpoy gave the rationale for the event.
Today, when we look back, we want to thank God from where we have come from to where we are. We want to tell the people of Accra that there is hope. Despite what we've gone through, we are resolved to build a city that is good for all of us.
Some of the traders shared with GBC24 how the year has been for them.
Oh, I feel one dani mo sheba ni na wo. Ani bi ami wapo ye o adro mo. E baba ni na wo e sake wo ye. Nyame adom ye tin kwan mu de ye mayen. Watu ye fu bebre nti ye de nyame ase. Se futu ode amayen no ye nso ye som. Afine a eni wa she wo ifa. E ya kada gbegagbe ona member. The wa ke ye for.
The MP for the area, Neil Lante Vanderpoy, encouraged the traders to be optimistic of brighter days in the new year.
Day 1 of 2016 is almost gone. In the pages of history is another full year packed with activity. Just in case you are filling your calendar, here are some events you may want to jot down from January till December.
Thank you for keeping company with us.
Have a good evening and Happy New Year.